Welcome back. So you may know that Washington State recently passed the Long-Term Care Act. The act created an employee payroll tax, and there's still some confusion about that tax, like who has to pay it and how can you opt out if you find your own long-term health care insurance. These are some important questions because there are important deadlines coming up, as David Donhoff at Leverage Planners explains.
Well, David, a couple of weeks ago, you and I talked about the long-term care insurance and how it relates to the state payroll tax. And you've gotten a lot of questions about this. Can we go over it one more time? Tell me who pays it and who doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a new law that was passed. And as the law is written right now, first of all, who is exempt from it by default? If you're a 1099 employee, or if you're a gig worker, part-time worker, self-employed, business owner, day trader, professional gambler, none of those are subject to pay the taxes. It's solely W-2 payroll workers. So regular employees are subject to the taxes, and it's mandatory. It starts January 1st next year, New Year's Day.
I have a follow-up question. So all these people who don't have to pay the taxes, 1099 contract employees, landlords, investors, do they get this state benefit anyway?
The answer is no, unless they voluntarily opt into the system. So they do have the freedom, the choice, the capability of opting into the state system if they decided that that was really the best choice for them.
Got it. So let's say a W-2 paycheck employee doesn't want the state program. They don't want to be a part of it. Can they do something to get out of paying taxes like everyone else?
Yes. So there is a one-time deadline exemption this coming November 1st. If you have a qualifying private insurance long-term care policy in place by this November 1st, and you leave it in place for the state's review period, which is the state's opportunity to double check that you actually have the policy that you say you have, then you can be permanently exempted from the state payroll tax.
So I think it's pretty clear that many of us, as we're living longer, are going to need long-term care. So maybe there's no way around it. So it's great that the state is doing this, but is it cheaper or more expensive if you say want to get this LTC insurance on your own?
Well, so when you understand that the state program's the same benefit for everybody, whether you make a lot of money, a little money, pay a lot of taxes, or hardly any taxes at all, then the people that really get the best benefits are those that pay very little in taxes. Which is to say, the people that make very little income get the best deal from the state. There are those that have said that it's better than nothing. And to the degree that if you were going to pay nothing for long-term care anyway, then yes, it's better than nothing. However, for a large number of people that do have payroll income and pay the taxes on it, the same dollars that they would have paid for the state program, they could have gotten better benefits outside the state program and paid less money.
Aha. Okay. So it's dependent on how much you're making, how much you're paying. And so it is pretty much a good program or a benefit for some, but maybe not others, right?
Let's put a simple kind of thumbnail number on it. If you earn $75,000 or more, or ever expect to ever grow to a $75,000 income or more in your career, then you're probably better off getting a policy in place on your own right now to get exempt from the payroll taxes, because you will have better coverage for less dollars by doing so.
Got it. That makes sense. And this is why we love talking to you about this, because you lay it all out there for us. There is so much more to explore, I know, with this. And we'll talk about more next week, which I love. But in the meantime, what about the folks who want to get a head start on this right now? What do they do?
So there's a few different options. First of all, you can come to our website, leverageplanners.com, and we can talk via phone, or we've got a chat feature, but we set up a specific website just for this issue. It's called stopthetaxbleed.com, and it's dedicated exclusively to the opting out of taxes, payroll taxes, for the long-term care program in Washington State.
And next week, we're going to talk more specifically about how you go about opting out of the tax. But in the meantime, you have access to David and his team at Leverage Planners. Please call the phone number on your screen or visit the link on New Day's website. Well, I am so darn proud of my fellow coworkers, fellow journalists, even myself, who have spent the last 15 months working to get out critical information on COVID. However, we aren't perfect. And coming up next, public health doctor Vin Gupta says the media has some room for improvement.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Leverage Planners.